My girlfriend and I had been planning a weekend getaway for weeks, and we finally decided to stay at a quaint hotel on the outskirts of town without doing any research about it. We're excited to spend a few days lounging by the pool, exploring nearby locations, and just relaxing in each other's company. When we arrived at the hotel, we were pleased with what we saw. Spacious and modern lobby, friendly and enthusiastic staff. We went to our room, and when we opened the door, we were happy to see how spacious it was. We quickly unpacked and decided to go down to the pool to relax. We spent about an hour swimming and lounging in the sun before deciding to go back to our room. As we entered the room, something caught my attention. There were dozens of small handprints on the window of our room. I thought maybe a group of children were playing or the housekeeping simply missed them. My girlfriend noticed my discomfort and asked me what was wrong. I told her about the fingerprints, and she also felt uncomfortable. We called the hotel reception to complain about those fingerprints and hoped they would clean them up. When the receptionist walked up, the strange thing was that those fingerprints had disappeared. My girlfriend and I were confused, and the receptionist thought it was because we were tired after a long day of traveling. When night falls, every rattle on the floor, every rustle of the curtains startles me. A sobbing sound rang out right next to my ear, causing me to jump up in surprise. I was frightened when I saw my girlfriend sitting on the bed, sobbing, reaching into the air, calling unfamiliar names.
Sam, Anya, Mick.
I panicked and shook my lover and called out. She woke up and hugged me, crying loudly.
Everyone returned to visit me.
I was struck speechless, not understanding what happened to my girlfriend, but the more I asked, the more panicked and tearful she became. All I could do was to console her and try to calm her down. I even started hearing strange noises in the middle of the night, noises that sounded like light footsteps and whispers. The next morning, I went down to the front desk to complain to him about strange noises, whispers in the room, and yesterday's fingerprints reappearing. After a moment of silence, he looked at us with a forced smile and said that there was no problem. He would send someone up to clean up those fingerprints. After saying that, he quickly left, leaving me and my girlfriend bewildered. We returned to the room. The fingerprints were clearly still there. Deciding to find out everything myself, I looked up information and related stories about this hotel online. This hotel previously had a horrific suicide. I panicked when I saw this headline. A woman checked into this hotel with her children. This woman suffered from severe depression due to beatings from her husband. Because she was mentally unstable, she hugged her children and jumped from the balcony of the floor we were on. The handprints on the window are those of the poor children who tried to cling to life. I immediately told my girlfriend to pack her things and get out of here quickly after knowing everything. We even heard whispers urging us to stay. Many days after that terrible vacation, I still couldn't get out of thinking about that woman and her poor children. Picking up my laptop and looking for the article about the suicide, I was surprised to learn more information that one of that woman's children was lucky to survive. Her name was Alice. The girl Alice, out of fear, attempted to cling to the railing until she was rescued. I was a bit startled. Alice is my girlfriend's name. Looking closely at the photo of that girl, I panicked. My body stiffened. Isn't this my girlfriend? A cold feeling ran down her spine, so the names Sam, Anya, Mick she called that day were her sisters.
I'm an older guy in my late 40s, and for work, I'm part of a team that travels across the country to train employees at our company. The company pays for our travels and hotels, and while sometimes it does somewhat feel like a vacation, usually it doesn't. When traveling, we have to work long hours and basically spend the entire day in the office, leaving us just enough time to sleep at the hotel before waking up and going back to work. I was on one of these work trips and had been at a hotel for a few days. It was a Saturday night when I got out of work and got back to the hotel a little past 10. I walked inside and got in the elevator. The whole hotel was quiet. There wasn't anyone walking around in the lobby and nobody in the elevator. When I got to my floor, I stepped out and began walking down the hallway, but at the end was a person. They are standing right outside my room, but I am too far away to be certain of that. As I approached, the guy noticed me and walked away, going inside a room a few doors down. I got to my door and went in, wondering what he possibly could have been doing. I was sure he was either outside my room or the room next to mine. I forgot about it after a couple minutes and took a shower and got in bed. I had another long day of work tomorrow, so I wasn't trying to overthink anything right before bed. I fell asleep, but woke up multiple times throughout the night, hearing someone walking outside my room. I even thought I heard them knocking once, but I wasn't sure if it was in my dream or if it was real. I got up in the morning still tired and went to work. I didn't get back to the hotel until late, I think around 9, but at least it was earlier than the previous night. When I walked up to my room, no one was in the hallway this time. I tossed my work bag on the couch and got in bed, but decided to watch some TV before sleeping. I reached for the remote on the nightstand and turned on some random show. I quickly fell asleep, then woke up because there was a ringing phone, around 10 a.m. I looked over at the nightstand, but as I gained more consciousness, I realized the sound wasn't coming from next to me, and my phone wasn't even on. I snapped my head toward the closet next to the TV, and then the ringing was suddenly silenced. A cold chill ran through my body as I saw the slight movement of a shadow from the crack between the closet doors. I jumped out of bed, slammed the door, and ran out of the room, heading straight to the stairs and running to the front desk. They called for security. We came a few minutes later and went into the room to search, and after 30 seconds, they came out holding a man, the same man I'd seen in the hallway before. I couldn't believe he didn't try to run away, but they said he was still in the closet. The man stared at me intently, his eyes wide open without blinking. I felt as if I were mesmerized by that gaze, the body stiff and unresponsive. Suddenly, the man's mouth opened wide, revealing sharp teeth and a long, slimy tongue. I panicked, feeling like I was going insane but unable to resist or escape. A horrifying tongue reached out to coil tightly around my neck. I woke up in bed, startled and panicked, hands clutching my throat. It was just a nightmare. I glanced at the closet, which was slightly ajar. A shiver ran down my spine.
Long story short, my ex-girlfriend and I had a pretty explosive relationship, and we didn't get along very often. We were on this weekend trip in the mountains just to go sightseeing and hiking, because we thought it would be good for us. But shit hit the fan in the hotel room on the second night, and basically I couldn't sleep in the same room as her. Instead of getting another hotel room for myself for like $150, I drove literally down the road to a motel and stopped there to stay for a fraction of the price. My logic was, if I left for the night and gave her time to cool off, maybe things would be better by morning. I got a room for, I'm not lying, $50 for the night. When I was walking towards my room, the room next door was wide open. As I passed, I looked inside and it was lit up by the blue glow of the TV screen, though from the angle I was at, I could not see what was on the screen. I didn't see anyone inside, but then again, I didn't stop to look like a weirdo. I proceeded to my room. It was a modest, normal-looking motel room for the price, just a queen-sized bed with a typical tacky floral bed cover, a TV, and a sofa. I wasn't really tired, so I just laid with the TV on and played games on my phone for a while. There was some weird noise from what I thought was coming from the TV, so I turned it off. But the noise persisted. It wasn't the TV. So I got up and listened and realized it was coming from the room next door. I couldn't tell if it was a fighting couple, if it was the TV for next door, or if it was the sound of someone dying. It was just incredibly muffled. At this point, I had nothing else to do but to try and go to sleep. But then there was a banging on the wall separating the two rooms. I got up and went closer to the wall, and it happened again. It was without a doubt someone on the other side pounding on it with their fist. Why were they doing this? I can't say I wasn't a little freaked out, but I had to just be a man and confront them. I went over next door. Surprisingly, the door to the room was still open and the TV was still on, but there was no sound. I knocked on the open door, asking if there was a problem or if someone needed help. There was no response. I could even see that the bathroom door was open and the light was off. I stepped into the room slowly, cautiously. When I cleared the wall blocking the view of the sofa and the bed and still saw nobody, I just stood there, all confused like. I went closer to the TV to look at what exactly was on the screen. It was just a blank blue screen. but there was a sticky note on the screen. It had writing on it. I picked it off the screen. It said, "Check under the bed." I dropped the note and ran out of the room, slamming the door. I ran back to my room and made sure to double lock the door with the chain lock. I crawled into bed and texted my girlfriend telling her what just happened and that I was freaking out. She called me immediately and I started telling her over the phone. As I was mid-explaining it, there were more bangs on the motel room wall. She heard it clearly, because I put it on speaker. I started freaking out, and she told me to run to my car or to the front desk. I chose to run to the front desk so I could get my money back. I told the guy at the front desk that he should go to the room next to mine and kick the person out. But he looked at me and left and said that there was no one staying on either side of that room. He seemed to know immediately that they were both vacant. I told him he needs to check it out and that I needed my money back. So he went with me with a key to the room in his hand and unlocked the door. But now the TV was off and the room was dark. He walked inside and checked under the bed as the note had said. Even the posted note that I dropped on the floor was gone. He refused to refund me, but it was $50 I didn't care. I left and went back to the hotel to my girlfriend and was glad to hug her and sleep in the same bed as her. I don't know what I witnessed in that motel room. I don't know who or what was under that bed, and I don't want to know.